So I just got off an hour-long call with business leaders, executives, and leaders in Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000s. Basically, they're the coaches of my coaches. And let me tell you, there's a ton of value in this. The topic was how to navigate a recession when you're a business owner or a business leader. Um, I collected my top 5 takeaways from this call. There were a ton of takeaways. There was a lot of really good info in there. I wanted to share them with you. So the number one takeaway, the first takeaway that I had, I don't know if it's the biggest or the largest, but it's the first one I thought of and wrote down, is to have a recession playbook. Now, we're a small business. We didn't have a recession playbook. I don't think most businesses, most small businesses have recession playbooks. And so, what do? Well, you build one. And you can start by just writing down and listing what the biggest risks to your company are if the recession hits certain levels or affects certain sectors. So say, for example, the recession hits your customers and they're less likely to buy from you. Well, write that down. Project what would happen if you took maybe a 25% hit in revenue, a 40% hit in revenue, and map out how you would have to respond in order to come out the other side all right. Other examples would be supply chain issues. How are you going to navigate having, if your suppliers are hit with this recession as well? You want to avoid having a single supplier risk in your business. And so, it's a good time to diversify, look outside of and beyond your main suppliers and look at other options. But the important part of that is to have a recession playbook. And we're working on ours right now. Second piece of advice that I got: conserve and arm yourself with cash. Now we want to be willing to cut deeper and harder than we might want to, right? We need to be willing to cut deep and hard, and the purpose of that is to arm ourselves with cash that we can readily deploy and hang on to. If we're in it for the long haul, we might need to be able to hang on to cash for a while because cash is king. That's what's going to keep us afloat, and we might not be getting another PPP round or anything like that. I wouldn't bank on it, especially not with inflation where it's at. So we need to be ready to hang on to cash, but be willing to deploy it aggressively and boldly when the opportunities arise. Some of those opportunities might come in terms of like maybe a competitor's going out of business, and there's opportunity to go after some of their customers, and you need to deploy marketing dollars to do that. Maybe there's opportunity for M&A. In a recession, there's more shakeup and more opportunity than most markets. And those who are bold and those who are willing to make big swings, go long on some things and short on others, the people who are the most agile, they're the ones who are going to come out ahead. Point number 3. As the CEO, it's not your idea, as the CEO, it's not your job to have the best ideas. Sorry about that. It's your job to put the best ideas on the table. That was a direct quote I heard from someone in the meeting, somebody who's been in the food and beverage industry at the very highest level of this, in an executive position at one of the biggest Fortune, really like a Fortune 50 company, in that kind of leadership position. It's not your idea to have the best idea, or I can't say that. It's not your job to have the best ideas. It's your job to put the best ideas on the table, to collect them. And it leads right into point number 4, communication. There's a lot of fear in this market, and a lot of decisions are being driven by fears, by misunderstandings, and by guesses. As leaders, it's our job to step in and communicate. Talk to your customers, talk to your suppliers, talk to your employees, and even go talk to your families. There's a lot of fear in this market. Everyone's reading the same headlines, getting the same news. We're all a little on edge. One thing that was said in this seminar was, if there's a question that people don't have an answer to, they're going to create that answer in their head, or they're going to hear it from someone else. And usually if they create that answer in their head, they're going to go to the worst possible scenario, and that's going to be their answer. And if we don't communicate, if we're not there and accessible to people, they might be coming up with those answers in their head that things are as bad as they can get. Whereas in reality, it's another recession. We're going to get through this. Communicate. Every one of your customers is going to be affected differently. Every one of your employees is going to be affected differently. Same goes with partners. Every business is responding to this and reacting to this a little differently. And so we just need to do our best to communicate, listen, be empathetic and be there for each other, and just help each other understand where we're at, where our strengths are, where our opportunities are, and what we might need help with. And so communication is a very, very important number 4. And lastly, number 5, marketing. This came up, I was on the edge of my seat because obviously I run a marketing company. I'm hoping that these business leaders and executives don't say, we need to cut marketing back, because that's what everyone, that's what you hear as marketing is the first to get cut. But actually is quite the opposite. Some of these leaders are saying, if you're going to trim marketing, trim conservatively, cut the fat. If there's excess spend that's going towards, moonshot ideas, you can trim back there, but make sure you reinvest that into opportunities and programs that we know work. The most efficient source of new revenue doesn't come from customers who we've never talked to. They come from our existing customers. And so we need to be, double down on the levers that we know work. Some of that is customer marketing, email marketing to people that we've worked with in the past, people that we're working with now, and upselling them. And so we just need to figure out how to be more efficient with our marketing dollars. There's a lot of opportunities in these kinds of markets where, like, we already have one client who has a competitor that's cutting a direct service line that we have the solution to. There's a huge opportunity there, and with capital to deploy, we can jump on that opportunity and use it to fuel growth for the next for the coming months. It's extremely important to not forget about marketing in this kind of market, because sure, it is a cost center, it's also a revenue center. And we need to be able to look 12, 16, 18 months ahead and see where is the business going to be if we are, sure, we can cut costs now, but where are we going to be in 16 months if we're not investing in growth today as well? And so just being smarter with your marketing, being more efficient with where you put dollars, and leaning on those levers that we know work, that email marketing, that conversion rate optimization, squeezing more out of the lemons that we already have, is going to be more important than ever. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Really excited to share this with you and hope you found it valuable. Thanks.